Hey there, soap fans. Welcome back to the channel where we dive deep into the messy, scandalous, and utterly jaw-dropping world of Port Charles. Grab your favorite snack and a comfortable seat because today's General Hospital breakdown is an absolute roller coaster. We are unpacking a plot twist so massive it's going to shake two legacy families to their very core. Let's get right into it. Can you believe the absolute chaos that has erupted from that horrific Route 91 car crash? We all knew that fateful night was going to leave a trail of destruction. But I don't think any of us were prepared for the emotional atomic bomb that just dropped on the Quartermain mansion. For weeks, we've been watching the aftermath of Jordan and Curtis's terrifying accident. We saw them kissing, taking their eyes off the road, and swerving. We saw Danny and Charlotte recklessly joyriding. But the real smoking gun, Brook Quartermain, tipsy, panicked, and making the worst decision of her entire life by hitting that guardrail and fleeing the scene. Let's be real for a second. I have always rooted for Brooklyn. She has fought tooth and nail to redeem herself, to become a better person, and to build a stable life with Harrison Chase, so they could foster baby Phoebe. But this, leaving a woman bleeding out in a wrecked car because you're afraid of failing a breathalyzer, that is cowardly. There, I said it. Many fans think Brooklyn was just acting out of panic and deserves grace, but I think she crossed a line that you just can't uncross. And the worst part is Tracy Quartermain enforcing this ruthless, ironclad cover-up. Tracy demanding that Brooklyn take this dark secret to her grave, especially keeping it from Chase, was a recipe for absolute disaster. You cannot keep a secret that massive from a detective. And you won't believe what happens next. The universe has a funny way of bringing the truth to light, doesn't it? Harrison Chase, the ultimate Boy Scout, the man whose moral compass always points true north, was bound to figure it out. It started with a simple accidental discovery. Chase wasn't even actively investigating his wife. He just happened to notice the dented car. The Quartermain garage is huge, but Chase has the eyes of a cop. He saw the crumpled fender. He saw the unmistakable paint transfer that perfectly matched the reports from the Route 91 crash site. You could literally see the gears turning in his head. The confusion, the denial, the horrifying realization. That moment was pure cinematic gold. But here's the kicker. Finding the car wasn't the nail in the coffin. The true devastation happened right outside the heavy oak doors of the Quartermain study. Chase, looking for his wife to ask her about the dent, stops dead in his tracks. Through the crack in the door, he hears the unmistakable sound of Brooklyn sobbing, and then he hears the confession. Every single agonizing detail. He hears Brooklyn admit to Tracy that she was drinking, that she hit the guardrail, that she saw Jordan's car in distress and chose to keep driving to save her own skin and their foster application. And he hears Tracy cold as ice, ordering her to lie to his face forever. That's crazy. Just put yourself in Chase's shoes for a minute. His entire world, his marriage, his family, his badge, everything he believes in shattered in a matter of seconds. I watched that scene and my heart physically ached for him. Chase represents the law. He took an oath to protect and serve. Jordan Ashford is his former boss, a woman he respects deeply. And she's currently fighting for her life in a hospital bed because of his wife's negligence. How do you process that? How do you look at the woman you love? The woman you fought so hard to marry and realize she's a criminal who left someone to die? I think this completely breaks Chase on a fundamental level. We've seen him compromise his strict moral code for Brooklyn before. Remember the whole fake baby Bailey storyline years ago? He put his career on the line to protect her and that child from Peter August. He bent the rules because he believed in her heart. But this isn't bending a rule to save a baby. This is covering up a hit and run that nearly killed the deputy mayor. His moral world didn't just crack, it completely collapsed. The look of pure, unadulterated devastation on his face as he backed away from that door. Give this man an Emmy right now. So what does a broken man do when the foundation of his life crumbles into dust? He runs. Chase couldn't confront her. Not yet. The betrayal was too fresh, the wound too deep. He needed an escape. He needed someone who understood the heavy burden of morality, someone who had been his safe harbor in the past. He went to Willow. Wow. Just wow, the writers are really digging deep into the GH history vaults for this one, and I am absolutely here for it. Let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Chase and Willow. Chillo. They were the golden couple of Port Charles once upon a time. They were pure, sweet, and fiercely protective of one another. Remember when Chase and Sasha made the ultimate sacrifice? They faked an affair, breaking their own hearts, just so Willow and Michael would get married to protect Wiley from Nell Benson. Chase literally gave up the love of his life for her own good. That is a bond that doesn't just evaporate no matter how many years pass or who else they marry. When Chase arrived at Willow's house, he was a shell of a man. The dialogue in this scene was heartbreaking. He didn't even have to say the words. Willow took one look at him and knew he was drowning. Chase poured his heart out. He confessed what he heard. He talked about the crushing weight of the badge, of the overwhelming guilt of loving a woman who could do something so callous, and the terrifying reality that their dream of fostering baby Phoebe was built on a foundation of lies and crimes. He didn't know what to do. Turn his wife and destroy his family, or become an accessory after the fact and lose his soul in the process. But let's look at Willow's state of mind right now, because this is where the psychological analysis gets really juicy. Willow is not the innocent, pure-hearted school teacher she was 5 years ago. Not even close. Willow is currently spiraling down a very dark path. She is keeping the explosive secret that she is the one who shot Drew Kane. She is blackmailing her own mother, Nina Reeves. She is viciously threatening Michael's new girlfriend, Jacinda Bracken, out of pure jealousy and possessiveness over Wiley. Willow is unhinged, terrified, and drowning in her own toxic secrets. So, when Chase comes to her, completely shattered by his wife's dark secret, Willow sees a twisted reflection of herself. She sees a good person being destroyed by the darkness of Port Charles. And in that moment of intense vulnerability, the lines blur. The shared trauma, the exhaustion of trying to be good in a town full of sinners, and the overwhelming nostalgia of their past love collided in a spectacular, disastrous way. They didn't mean for it to happen. It wasn't a calculated move, it was a desperate grasp for comfort. A momentary lapse of reason from two people whose lives are completely falling apart. In a moment of absolute weakness, old memories flooded back. The lingering touches the tearful, embraces the desperate need to feel something other than pain. They lost control. Chase and Willow slept together. Are you screaming at your screen? Because I certainly was. This is soap opera perfection. It is messy, it is tragic, and it is going to cause a tsunami of consequences. I honestly don't know who I'm more mad at, but I also completely understand why it happened. That's the beauty of deep character writing. You hate the action, but you understand the profound psychological pain that drove them to it. Now Chase is trapped in a nightmare of his own making. Talk about a tangled web. He walked into that house as the moral superior, the betrayed husband, reeling from his wife's crimes. He walked out as a cheating husband. How can he arrest Brook Lynn now? How can he stand on his high horse and condemn her for her cowardice, when he just committed the ultimate betrayal of their marriage vows? Chase is completely paralyzed. He is caught between his duty as a cop, his love for his flawed wife, and the staggering guilt of his own infidelity. And what about Willow? She is already juggling chainsaws with the Drew Kane shooting and the Jacinda rivalry. Now, she has just slept with her ex-boyfriend, who happens to be married to the woman she just conditionally approved to foster a child. The hypocrisy is staggering. Willow was just lecturing Brook, Lynn, and Chase about the moral responsibilities of fostering, and now she's sleeping with the prospective father. If Michael finds out about this, the custody battle for Wiley is going to look like a walk in the park compared to the nuclear fallout that will hit the Kane and Quartermain families. Let's theorize about where this is heading, because the dominoes are set up to fall in the most spectacular way possible. First of all, Tracy Quartermain is a shark. If she even sniffs out that Chase is acting weird, she's going to investigate. Tracy will do anything to protect the Quartermain name. If she finds out Chase knows about the crash, she might try to blackmail him. But what if she finds out he slept with Willow? Tracy would absolutely use that to neutralize Chase. She would hold his infidelity over his head to force him to keep his mouth shut about the Route 91 crash. Can you imagine Chase being blackmailed by Tracy Quartermain? It would destroy whatever is left of his soul. Then there is Brook Lynn. She is currently drowning in guilt, terrified that Jordan will wake up and remember her face. She is leaning on Chase for support, completely oblivious to the fact that her husband knows she is a criminal, and even more oblivious to the fact that he just slept with Willow. When the truth comes out, and in Port Charles, the truth always comes out, Brook Lynn is going to snap. I predict a massive, explosive confrontation between Brook Lynn and Willow. We haven't seen a good old-fashioned soap opera slap fest in a while. And these two women have enough history and animosity to burn down the entire Metro Court, but the real tragedy here is baby Phoebe. That innocent child is caught in the crossfire of these incredibly selfish adults. Chase and Brook Lynn's marriage is a ticking time bomb. Brook Lynn is facing potential prison time for a hit and run. Chase is compromised as a police officer and a husband. Willow, the woman who holds the key to their foster approval, is now Chase's mistress. There is no way they get to keep that baby. And honestly, I think they deserve to lose her. You cannot build a family on a foundation of hit and runs, cover-ups, and infidelity. I also have to wonder how this ties back into the bigger picture with Jen Sidwell and the mob drama. The Route 91 crash wasn't just an isolated incident. It involved Danny and Charlotte, who were tied to the whole Jason Morgan and Valentine Cassadine mess. Carly is already aggressively covering up Danny's involvement. So we have Carly covering up for the teens, Tracy covering up for Brooklyn, and now Chase covering up for both his wife and himself. Port Charles is literally a city of secrets right now, and the pressure cooker is about to blow. Will Chase confess? I think he has to. The guilt is going to eat him alive. He is not built for deception like Valentine or Sunny. Chase is a truth teller by nature. I predict that the guilt of sleeping with Willow is going to push him over the edge. He won't be able to look Brooklyn in the eye. He's going to crack, and when he does, he's going to confess everything, his knowledge of the crash, and the affair. It is going to be the most devastating episode of the year. What do you guys think? Is Chase justified in seeking comfort in Willow's arms after discovering his wife's horrific secret? Or is cheating never the answer? No matter how bad the betrayal, do you think Brooke Lynn deserves to go to Steinmauer for leaving Jordan to die? Or should she get a pass because she was panicked? And how on earth is Willow going to survive when all of her dark secrets finally come to light? Drop your thoughts, theories, and rants in the comments below. I read every single one of them, and I can't wait to see what you guys think of this massive Chillo reunion and the impending destruction of the Quartermain family. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update on the wild, wild world of General Hospital. Until next time, stay soapy, my friends.